Showing a trick how to remove this very stuck cap. This is the black, I call this black model 2000 watts champion. It's the smaller one, but it's the newer model, and this thing here, it's extremely difficult to remove, but I have a trick for you that will make it absolutely easy. Now, I've seen a few videos online, and for some reason some YouTubers say a little difficult. Now, I really don't like that definition of the word a little, but here's my trick. So obviously you want to remove first this cover, maybe give you a suggestion. So it has a knob here, just unscrew it, but then it has locking pins. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2 on sides, 1 on top, and this will feel like you cannot pull the cover, but just go gently, don't force, don't bend. Just go gently around this corner, maybe insert your fingers, just pull, careful when you remove it. Anyhow, then you have access to this bad guy here. It's impossible to remove it with your hands. Even if you try to slide your hands on it, it's really, really stiff. And my trick is to use pliers. I'm going to use the handle of the pliers. Notice this is bare metal. Screwdriver, I would not try it because it's too thin. You will see why. So my trick is, you have the valve cover here, has 4 bolts. The bolt on this corner sits right underneath the metal part of the cup or the spark plug. And by the way, I'm going to show us well how to access the spark plug. What I want to do is insert the handle on top, try to film this properly, on top of that bolt and underneath this metal part. Be careful not to force on the rubber and also not to force on the cable. You can also wiggle this thing a little bit, but make sure you lift the cable if you want to make a rotation here. But my way is to put it against the cover like this, to the left, insert that handle, and then go with patient. So be patient, don't force right away, just small pushes like this. You don't want to force on it. So let's try to do this live. So right now this cap is all the way down, and I have to mention something about that too. So just insert it over that bolt underneath the metal, and underneath the metal part. Go gently, I repeat, go gently. Just take your time and just push downwards, but gently, don't force. And be sure you push the handle to all the way into that rubber cup without forcing on it, just like that. And there you have it. A little, a very, very little. You know those videos when they say a little, it means it's really hard. This one, it's really a tough guy. Now for the actual spark plug torque numbers, I don't have those official specs, but I just tried to feel by hand. I also have a torque wrench, which is definitely not the most accurate. I just tried to feel by hand how much it was tightened in there, and I came to about maybe just my guess, about 10 foot-pounds. So it's not a lot. This is a small engine. The threads on the spark plug are not that big. I'm not sure, perhaps, I'm not sure if it's a metal head or aluminum head. And by the way, I noticed there is kind of a channel right there. It's interesting. Anyhow, let's just try to undo it. Right now it's torque, it's tightened. Let's just try to untie the spark plug. So you just put your wrench over the I'll show you in a moment, socket. It's 13 by 16 imperial inches. This is a 3/8 inch drive. So let's just untighten it to give you an idea how tight it is. I'm working one hand. This is a fairly small handle. That's it. So it's not a lot. It is tight-ish. I can tell you that on car cars it's more than this. This is just a regular socket that I use also on car engines. It's just standard. So let's just try to unscrew it. But this unit didn't run yet. I believe the specs for the tip here are 0.7 to 0.8 millimeters, so a little less than 1 millimeter if you want to check the gap. Let's just try. So again, the socket it's 13 on 16. Not sure if the camera will capture this. 13. It's typical spark plug socket with a rubber here to protect the spark plug. 3/8 drive, but it's fairly big. It fits right in there. That's perhaps you see the top of the piston. So you see, I would say the threads there, it's hard to tell, but maybe it's alloy. It doesn't necessarily look like steel, and you just want to go pretty gently. Don't over torque it. It does have a crusher ring. Actually, it does have a washer, but I'm not sure if it's a crushable washer or not. Obviously, if it is, it was already crushed. So if you put it back in place, just don't force. Let me just give you perhaps the, what is there. This may be the brand. I suggest replacing with NGK. It's the best brand out there. So again, this is for, I think the engine it's about 50 cc or plus minus. So when you put it back in place, try to put the socket on top of it and just make sure you slide it down into the socket. Okay. So it gets captured into that rubber washer, whatever it is, and then you just screw it by hand. So you make sure you don't cross thread it. When you screw it by hand, it's impossible to cross thread it. You just feel it goes in there nicely, and then just give you an idea perhaps if I want to tighten back. So just turn until you feel it stops, and then just no, camera won't focus more, but the tight point is just slightly snug. I would say that's it. So you notice it's just not a lot of trouble. It's about this much trouble on the handle. That's it. You feel, actually you feel it doesn't stop. You feel like at some point it's harder to tighten. It's just like it's crushing that washer. So when you feel like it's crushing something, stop there. That's enough. You don't want to force on those tiny threads. My camera really got out of is in a weekend right now. My camera focus. Let's just try to untighten it again, and that's it. It's pretty much the same torque as originally was tightened it in there. So obviously don't forget to tighten it properly when you put back the cover. So again, the cover actually just kind of wraps this rubber on tops. I think on, I don't know, no, probably you won't touch the spark plug, but anyway, you have that small, that collar, metal collar right at the end, and you actually need to push this down until you fully seated there. And it's tricky because let's just try to put it back. Careful with this cable here, so make sure you manage it, don't force on it. It's really tight. I'm not really comfortable to see this cable bent like this, but when you put it over the spark plug, make sure that small rubber, I don't know what to call this thing, make sure it kind of overlaps all around. It's not that important, it's more for water tightness somehow, but when you push it down, you feel, if you push gently, you feel it stops at some point and there is resistance, and you think that's it. That's not it. You need to push it some more, and this time with force. So let's just use your fingers. Let's just try to push it more, and perhaps you will see the movement. Let me just get the correct angle. So I'm going to push downwards with some force, and you see how it moves. I think. Be careful because you can bump on the cover here, so maybe rotate it a little bit when you push downwards. Okay, now it's seated. So you really need to force on it to push it downwards about this travel, so like 5 millimeters or so, to be really sliding that small metal round over the tip of the spark plug. Actually, it's not the tip, it's the head, I don't know, over the top of the spark plug. So you really need to make this last travel. You will feel it. You are going to force on it, and you are going to feel it traveling that distance, and then only then it's really seated. Actually, one of the way to check this is that the rubber here, it's actually sitting right at the top of the metal edge, that edge, the hole for the spark plug. So if you push on the rubber here on all sides, you cannot move the rubber downwards. It really sits against the metal hole. That's perhaps a good check to make sure it's really sitting in there. Otherwise, with all the vibrations, it's going to pop from there, and you lose power. So just make sure about this small detail. A bit long video, sorry about this, but I think until you find the right way to remove the cap here, it's a bit insane. A bit, did I say a bit? Just like those guys who say a little difficult. All right, I haven't tried to run it yet. I'm not sure how good it is, but for now I'm just checking a few things. Thanks for watching.